great audience. Guys, we have a special show in store. Once again, I found a live human person to interview, and his name is Randy Harris. Let's give Randy Harris a big round of applause. Come on out, Randy! Woo! Oh, he's just... Oh, they're still going! Oh, amazing! Oh. Wow, really, you guys should sit. You guys should... No, still! Okay, they're done. Well, wow, what an entrance. Randy, you used to be a professor at ACU, but retired recently, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So, what have you been up to recently?
Well, after 2019, I decided I would go, a little off cuff here and see what life is like as a monk.
Okay, and you have some experience with monks, right? So you went to live with the monks.
Yes. So I showed up and very primitive living style.
Sure.
They don't have the technology that we do.
Tell us what the day-to-day would be like there, living as a monk.
You got to speak 2 words each month, that's all that you got. Were 2 words. You're in silence.
Okay. Take us through your months. You were there
January till the end of April.
Okay. All right. So what were your 2 words for each month?
In January, at the end of the month, they brought you into the head monk and.
And you couldn't say anything?
No.
All month?
All month.
Okay.
So my first 2 words was an attempt to help them.
Sure.
Better internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They had some internet, but not very good.
No, they had no internet. So literally anything they did would have been an improvement upon what they had.
Sure.
So better internet.
Okay, so that was for the end of January.
Yes.
Okay.
At the end of February, which thankfully was a shortened month,
okay.
Warmer blankets. It was cold. They don't have, especially in January and February, as you can imagine, very cold.
They have to have warm blankets. So better internet in the end of February. You need warmer blankets.
Yes.
Okay.
By March, my 2 words were better food.
Okay, yeah. The food needed some improvement.
You can only eat so much rice that's not flavored, and it's just at some point you need something more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you should really write a Yelp review for these monks. Help them out.
I'm trying to help them.
Yeah,
when they do
that.
get Yelp reviews. I'm just trying to help them out. And then come April, my 2 words were I quit.
Okay, all right, you were done.
I was done.
End of April.
My experiment was over. I didn't need to know anymore.
All right. Yeah. Well, so that takes us into May. And so while you were there, what was your perception of all this coronavirus stuff?
What?
Oh, you're not... Oh. Okay, so 2020, out in the real world, we've been having a bit of a thing going on in 2020. You knew about the war that almost started it, right? No, okay, we'll skip over that. So, 2020, there's this, there's this virus called the coronavirus. Do you like restaurants or theaters or
sure.
being around people?
Yeah.
None of that. No, we've been locked in our homes for a while. So, things have changed a little bit. You're not a fan of sports, are you?
Yeah, who won March Madness?
Okay, so... Didn't happen. No basketball. Nothing like that.
Okay. So
you're not a fan of Kobe Bryant, are you?
What happened to
Doesn't
Kobe?
matter. Let's just let's move on. So we're getting through it. And then of course after all that there was the murder hornets. I assume you know about those.
Murder hornets.
Yeah, they're like regular hornets except way bigger and deadly. And they're coming to America. So that's exciting. So that's what's been going on since you've been gone.
How did they come to America?
With Eddie Murphy. I don't even know the story. Do you know how they came to America?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I also have no idea.
You're telling me all
Randy
news
Harris.
right now.
I don't know.
All of this is new to me.
It's been a terrible year. But we're getting through it. We started this show, and I had interviewed some non-human guests for a while, but things are better now, and we've had some human people come on, and you washed your hands
Human
before.
people? As in, like, there's non-real people? Non-humans?
I'll introduce you to Bowen Reeves later. Anyways, so glad you're here. Don't forget to wash your hands when you leave, okay?
Okay.
And just don't go near people. They may freak out.
That explains a lot.
We need to recognize that something special is going on this Sunday. Of course, our audience knows. This Sunday is Mother's Day.
Yes.
And in light of Mother's Day, I would like to play a game. Are you up for a game, Randy?
I'm up for a game.
All right, we're going to play a game. Audience, are you up for a game? Oh, man, they're excited. That's great. All right, we're going to play the Mother's Day Mom Trivia. And hopefully, if all things go well, you'll see a graphic on your screen right now. Okay, I don't know the answers to these questions, so we're going to be answering them together.
Okay.
And in fact, let's just take turns. So I'll let you go first, Randy. So the first question is, how many phone calls are made to moms on Mother's Day in the United States? Is it A, 64 million, B, 122 million, C, 197 million, or D, 173 million?
I'm going to go with B, 122 million.
122 million. The answer is 122 million. Good job.
Got it.
All right. 1 point on the board for Randy. All right. Here's my question. How many moms are there in the United States? And I can't see the answer. Is it A, 101.2 million, B, 97.4 million, C, 82.5 million, or D, 74.3 million? Oh, man, I don't... how many people are there in the United States? Do you know that number?
I want to say it's like 300...
Okay.
Upwards of 300 million.
So if we were to take half those people and say half are female, and let's see, what percentage of females... There's a certain percentage that will be in the right age range to be a mom, and there's a certain percentage that would decide to be a mom.
Is it the average home?
How many moms are there
2.5 kids
in the United States? Okay.
So you can...
It's like 2.2 kids or something like that.
Yeah, that would be 2.5.
Okay. Wait, 2.2 isn't 2.5?
Oh, you said 2.2. Okay. I got you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to go with C, 82.5 million. Let's see what the answer is. It's C, 82.5 million. All right.
No one believes you right now.
No, that's
right?
fine. I'll show a graphic later, and they'll believe me, Randy. Don't you worry about that. But you believe me about the coronavirus and the murder hornets? You just took me out of my word?
Say something ridiculous like UFOs are real.
Okay, well, let's move on. Let's just keep going. I forgot about that. This question's for you. What is the most unpopular mom chore according to moms? Okay, this is going to be a tough one. There's a lot of... Moms do a lot, so let's see what the most unpopular mom chore is according to moms. Is it A, laundry, B, grocery shopping, C, vacuuming stairs, or D, dishes?
I'm gonna say it's between laundry and dishes because those two things just never seem to...
Oh, they go on and on,
stop.
right? Yeah.
I would go laundry, would be my guess.
Okay. Yeah, see, vacuuming stairs is like once a month kind of chore.
Yeah, and if you don't have stairs in your house,
okay.
You're not vacuuming stairs.
So how could that be the most unpopular? Yeah, I'm with you. So you're saying A, laundry.
I would say laundry, because I'm thinking teenage boys are very smelly human beings.
Wait, okay, it says the answer is C, vacuuming stairs.
What? We don't even...
We've just spent time disproving that. And then it says, okay. Well, that...
Vacuuming stairs.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
I mean, the most unpopular...
Hey, we're in good shape then at our household, because my wife never has to do that.
I didn't think Randy Harris was married. Anyway. It's all right. How many times each day does a preschooler need his mom's attention? Well, this is for me. I forgot.
That's for you.
Is it A, 210, B, 130, C, 335, or D, 88? Okay. So Fallon, as you guys know, just had his first child, and she is not to preschooler age yet, so I'm going to have to take a shot in the dark on this one. Let's see, how many times each day does a preschooler need his mom's attention? It's got to be the highest number, right? I'm going to go C, 335.
That's what I would have gone
Really?
with.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Whatever the highest number is, give it that guess.
It's saying no. It's saying the second highest number. It is saying 210 times. I mean, I guess when you're a preschooler, you start to try to hide some things from your mom at that age anyways.
When you're a parent, 210 doesn't... you can't distinguish that from 300
whatever. That might as well be 1,000. Okay, this one's for you. How many different countries celebrate Mother's Day? Mother's Day is not just celebrated here in the United States.
That's a good question.
You don't know if it's a good question?
No,
you don't know.
That's a good question.
It is a good
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, comma.
You've been to a lot
That's
of countries, haven't you,
yes.
Randy Harris?
Yes.
Okay. We'll just stop there. Is it A, 12 countries, B, 37 countries, C, 8 countries, or D, 50 countries?
What was the 30 one? I'm going to go with that one.
37.
Whatever is in the 30s.
Okay, 37 countries. I think that's a great guess. No, it's 50 countries.
Okay.
Oh.
Good. More countries
are recognizing moms. That's good.
They're with it. More with it than I thought.
I'm not really good at keeping score. Do we both have one right?
I think so.
We both have one right. Okay.
Really, it's 1-0 because you clearly cheated on yours.
I am not cheating, audience. I am not at all. 90. Why would I be getting ones wrong? 90% of moms, to be believable, yeah. 90% of moms, this one's for me, would prefer to receive blank this Mother's Day. The options are A, spa treatment, B, dinner with family, C, handwritten letters, or D, jewelry. So I'm thinking I'm between dinner with family and handwritten letters. I think those are really important to moms. I'm going to go with handwritten letters. That's my guess. Would you go a different way? This won't count against you.
I was leaning towards family meal or spa treatment.
Okay. I mean, who wouldn't want that? You were right. Spa treatment.
Spa treatment.
Yeah. They deserve it. Okay, this one's for you, Randy. The average mother changes a diaper in how many seconds? So after changing a lot of diapers, they get pretty good at it. Is the answer A, 125 seconds? That's just over 2 minutes. B, 86 seconds. C, 245 seconds. Or D, 94 seconds.
We'll go with... what was it, 84? Was that
86 or 94?
86.
Those are the lower ones.
Man. We'll go 94. We'll go 94 seconds.
Okay.
A little over a minute and a half.
This is saying 125 seconds.
Wow.
That's I've never timed myself changing a diaper. Now I'm kind of curious. That seems like a long time.
Yeah,
but if you're wiping and
we don't want to get into the
details. We won't get to all of that.
But obviously, some would be easier to clean up than others. Right?
Okay, that's true. I mean, you have to take into account the blowout diapers. Yes. Okay, this one is for me. What percent of all laundry is done by moms? We were just talking about laundry. What percent of all laundry is done by moms? Is it A, 68%, B, 88%, C, 74%, or D, 81%? Okay, so the factors here are what percent of all laundry is done by moms? So is that saying how many moms do laundry, or is it saying when mom does laundry, how much of the laundry does she do?
I think it's asking how many moms are overseeing the laundry.
Okay. So we have to take into account
my guess.
Stay-at-home dads. We have to take into account hopefully some responsibility giving to teenagers as they get older. It's still got to be pretty high. I'm going to go 74%. Does that seem low or high to you?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I would probably guess that as well.
Okay.
74.
The answer is 88%.
We're lazy.
Us
non-moms are lazy.
No, we're lazy. Okay, this one's for you.
Okay.
In 18 years, The average mom spends how many hours cooking and doing dishes? So cooking and doing dishes in 18 years.
18 years.
And this is for that average mom.
That's a lot of.
So A, 3,678 hours. B, 5,430 hours. C, 7,592 hours. Or D, 8,212 hours. Now, this is going to take some math. So how many...
I'm not even going to buy... Okay. So...
I mean, I would guess...
Cooking meals, right?
Cooking and doing dishes.
All right, so let's...
I mean, it's a minimum of an hour in a day, right?
I would... See, what's hard is most of the year kids are at school, so they're not cooking.
Okay.
But does that count like lunch prep?
Pack lunch,
does that count? Oh,
I
man.
know this.
What are the choices again?
I'll round them 3,000, 5,000, 7,000, 8,000.
Let's do 5,000.
Okay.
That's just a shot in the dark here.
8,000. 8,212 hours is the average. Holy cow. That's so much.
18 years.
That's a long time.
Man.
Okay, this one's for me. The country of India celebrates Mother's Day for how many days? So apparently in India, they celebrate Mother's Day for multiple days.
Apparently they do it better than us.
I guess. A, 3 days. B, 10 days. C, 31 days. Or D, 7 days.
Would that be Mother's Month?
Yeah, well, yeah, Proverbs 31 type mom.
Right, there you go. 31. There's your answer.
India. Was the monastery you went to in India?
Tibet.
Yes. Where is Tibet? I don't know where Tibet is.
Come on, Fallon.
Notice they didn't answer. Anyways.
Because it's so obvious. It doesn't merit a response.
I'm going to guess that they make a full week out of it. I'm just going to say 7 days. That's going to be my guess. 10 days. 10 days in India, they celebrate Mother's Day. So if any of you moms are feeling unappreciated,
go to India.
Go to India. or we could do better here, I guess. This is maybe something
I guess that
do.
could be done too.
Okay. This one's for you. How many babies are born each minute in the world? Every minute in the world, how many babies are born? Is it A, 134 babies, B, 112 babies, C, 255 babies, or D, 368 babies?
The 200 one.
255 babies?
Yeah.
The answer is 255 babies. All right. So I think that puts you solidly in the lead.
2-1.
Yeah. What percentage of moms say their kids are more spoiled than they were? Okay. A, 59%, B, 85%, C, 97%, or D, 44%?
This is an interesting question here.
What percentage would say their kids are more spoiled than they were? So I would think a majority is what I would guess. I'm going to go with an 85%. I feel like 97 is too high, and I feel like 59% is not enough of a majority. I feel like 44% is flat out. So I'm going to go 85%. 59%.
59%.
Moms are more humble than I give them credit for. I'm a garbage human being. This is a good one. I'm glad you get this one. Okay, Randy. The heaviest child ever recorded at birth weighed how much?
I'm afraid to hear these answers.
Oh, they're all bad. Even the low ones are not good. Okay, is it 18 pounds,
Good
2
grief.
ounces?
Oh.
That is more than twice of what I was when I was born. Is it B, 19 pounds, 6 ounces?
Did these babies eat other babies
I
in
don't
the womb?
know. I don't know. C, 17 pounds, 11 ounces. Or D, 22 pounds, 8 ounces.
Mercy. I'm going to go with the first one.
You're going to go with 18.2.
18.2.
All right, 18.2. The answer is 22.8.
Oh,
22
poor woman.
pounds, 8 ounces.
Wow.
What?
What was she eating when she was pregnant with this child?
It's like triplets join forces and decide, no, we'll be super, baby.
Was it like, did Shaq marry some behemoth woman? Like, I don't like, how did they get that big? I don't understand this.
I just think behemoth woman is really funny.
I couldn't think of a Shaq-sized woman, so
I'm gonna change my Mother's Day card. I think that needs to be added on there. Sorry, Mom. Anyways, moms. This one's for me. Moms who have blank have the highest levels of stress, and so the answer is how many kids? Moms who have this many kids have the highest levels of stress. Is A, 2 kids, B, 4 kids, C, 3 kids, D, 5 kids. Okay. This is interesting because now we get to family dynamics. Okay, so I came from a household of 8 kids, which is not on here, but I think there is a point like past 4 where more kids is not necessarily equal to more stress. Of course, I don't know that from experience of being a parent of that many kids, but so 2 kids, I would think maybe there's a lot of conflict. They're fighting each other, and 3 kids, does that make it easier, or does that make it tougher? Randy, what's your experience with kids? Yes?
I know a man by the name of Blake O'Quinn.
Okay, tell us about Blake.
Right. Blake has 5 kids.
5, you say?
One day Blake was telling me, because I was asking him, what's it like having 5 kids? I don't think I could handle that. And you know what his response was? He said the hardest switch was from 2 to 3.
Really?
So that's, my guess is 3 kids is the most stressful.
Okay. I have to tell you, I have this friend named Jacob who it might be going through that change right now.
Really?
We need to be praying. Okay, so you think it's 3?
Yeah, because he says at 3 you're outnumbered officially.
Wait, was this my question or your question?
Yeah, it's your question.
Oh, I already clicked on the answer. 3 kids is correct.
Hey,
but I feel like I have to give that
Blake's,
one to you.
Blake's correct.
Blake is correct.
Blake gets a point.
We'll give that one to Blake. The average child needs their diaper changed blank times before learning to use a toilet. So this one will be for you. The average child needs their diaper changed this many times before learning to use a toilet, before they're potty trained.
Shoot.
So is it...
Starting from birth?
Yeah, assuming,
okay.
Yeah. 8,423 times, 4,702 times, 3,856 times, or 6,559 times. So roughly 8,000, 4,000, 3,000, 6,000.
I'm going 8.
I mean, it's got to be a lot, right?
Yeah, because I mean, even 3 times a day times 365.
When do kids usually get potty trained? I should probably know this.
I mean, I would hope you're trying to get that accomplished. I mean, I would want it done with. I mean, every kid's different, obviously, but
right.
I would think you'd want to start as soon as you could.
Okay. So is 1 feasible? A year old?
I wouldn't think so.
No, that's too young. Okay.
Yeah. I would think 8,000. That's the highest one. That just seems to be. That doesn't seem too low to me.
According to this, the number is the 4,702. Those kids were constipated, and the study was thrown off. I blame gluten. I blame gluten and cheese. Okay. A lot of poop in this interview. I don't know what's going on there. This one's for me. What percentage of moms believe that raising girls is harder than raising boys? 80%, 60%, 40%, 70%. I'm going to go with 40%. The answer, of course, is not that. It is 60%. If only I were smarter. All right, well, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Blake O'Quinn. No, Randy is the winner. Great job, Randy. All right, Randy, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you guys for joining us. Before we let you go, any future projects coming up in your life?
Just looking to, get my rest on in 2020,
Lots of time for rest. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. I always said I would rest when I die, but apparently can't do anything now, so that's what I'll do.
Just stay home.
Yeah.
Just stay home. It's for the best.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Stay tuned for the lesson. Have a good day. And remember, you may be alone, but we're alone together. Ah! Hey, y'all. Good morning. Thanks for joining me for another Sunday morning YouTube class. I want to know, have you guys ever gotten in a wrestling match with one of your siblings? As one child of 8, there were so many times when brothers, we would be on the trampoline, and then there'd be this match of, who can pin the other person down and make them have to tap out. That's just something that brothers do. And there were even times with friends, where we would wrestle and make someone submit to the other. And I think as universal as the stories can be, it's interesting that we get a story about wrestling and someone wrestling with God in the Bible. And that's where Jason's preaching from today in Genesis chapter 32. He's preaching on the story of Jacob wrestling this man of God. Last week, Jason talked about Jacob and Esau. And that's important context before we get to the story, because after Jacob steals the blessing from Esau, they're not on such great terms. So Jacob flees there and wants to get away from his brother. And he ends up living in a place where he works for a man named Laban. Well, through his dealings with Laban, eventually he gets to a place where he kind of deceives Laban and wants to get away from there. So he leaves that place while Laban, his father-in-law, he becomes his father-in-law. He leaves that place and he has Laban behind him, and he's going to a place where Esau is in front of him. So he's in between these two different tough places. There is a storm that's behind him and a storm that's in front of him. And he decides to risk the storm in front of him and head towards Esau. And so when he does that, he's worried about Esau's reaction. So he concocts a plan where he's going to try to pacify his brother. He's going to try to butter him up a little bit. And so he's going to send some people on ahead of him. And when he does that, before he follows all these people that he sends ahead, something happens. So let's read together in Genesis chapter 32. Genesis chapter 32, and we're going to start in verse 22. That night, Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So Jacob was left alone. He sent all his possessions, all of his people, all his family, he sent them ahead of him to try to make good with Esau. So he's all by himself. And during that time, a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched, and he wrestled with the man. Starting again in verse 25. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered. And it's worth noting that Jacob, we know that when he was born, he came out with Esau, but right behind Esau. In fact, he was grasping Esau's heel, and that's why they gave him the name Jacob. So Jacob means someone who grabs. So not only is Jacob a grabber, but he's also a deceiver, and so they gave him that name, Jacob. Verse 28, then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel." And Israel means he who struggles with God. "Because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you ask me my name?" Then he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." The sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip, because the socket of Jacob's hip was touched near the tendon. So much rich history in this story in Genesis chapter 32. I love that Jacob gets this name change because he's wrestling with this man who he doesn't know who he is, and he realizes later, this is actually God in human form that I was wrestling. And so there's this name change to Israel, and Israel means he who struggles with God, which is very fitting for Jacob, but also fitting for the Israelites, right? They have this there are people named after Jacob, who was a person who struggled with God, and the people of Israel struggled with God for hundreds and hundreds of years. I like this story because Jacob is actually in a place that we often find ourselves. We are often surrounded by storms. If we are, we're usually just getting out of a storm, or we're in the middle of a storm, or there's a storm that's right ahead of us. And that's where Jacob is. He's got this storm behind him and a storm ahead of him. And in the middle of all that, he's struggling with God. And that's often the time that we find ourselves struggling with God. We find ourselves struggling with God during these times when there's storms all around us. And oftentimes we're forced to have this dialogue with God during these times. And we pay attention more to God and we struggle with God. And when we're talking about struggling with God, I would like to address that there are definitely different levels of this. There are those of you who are watching, you're sitting there in your room or in your living room or wherever you are on your device, and you're thinking about what does it mean to struggle with God? Well, I think there's different levels. I think a lot of times, especially when we're young, there's this time of, is God real? We struggle with this idea, is God even real? Is he a Santa Claus? Is he an Easter Bunny sort of figure? Or is he more real than that? And hopefully we've been teaching that he is more real than that, and you guys have come to learn that he is more real than that. So we struggle with him on that level, on an intellectual level of, is God the real deal? And then there's this other level where once you recognize that he is who he says he is God, where you make this decision, and you struggle with this decision, am I going to commit the rest of my life to him? Am I going to decide to be baptized? And I know that there are those of you in the youth group who have not made that decision yet. And I'm willing to bet there are those who have not made that decision that have struggled with that decision, that they hear God calling them to be a follower of him, and they're struggling with that decision, and they're in the midst of that struggle. And then there's another level. I would say there are those who, yes, they've confirmed in their minds God is real. Yes, I've decided I'm going to follow God. I'm going to commit my life to him, and they've decided to take him on in baptism. But then there's this whole other level of after you've committed your life to him, you get all kinds of thoughts of, does he really know what's best for me? What I mean by that is we get ideas in our own head of we think we know what's best for us. I mean, we're very used to when our parents tell us something, they're just saying that because they're our parents. And we go through this phase of do our parents even know what they're talking about? Now, as you get older, you'll go through a phase of, yes, my parents did know what they were talking about. And then you'll go through another phase of, no, they didn't know what they were talking about. And that happens over and over again. And that's very natural. But the same thing happens with God. We go through life, and there's this moment where we have a decision to make of whether I'm going to do what I think is best, or I'm going to trust that God actually knows what's best. And so there are times where we have to sacrifice things because we are going to say, yes, I believe God knows what's best, so I'm not going to do what I think is my best interest. I'm going to do what God thinks is in my best interest. And we're very often in that struggle of, am I actually going to put that trust in God? So guys, if you're watching this morning and you find yourself in that place, can I put my trust in God? Can I actually dedicate to my life to him? Am I actually going to acknowledge that he's the real deal? I want to encourage you guys to live in that struggle, because at the end of this story of Jacob wrestling with God, it's not like Jacob wrestled with God and then he's condemned. He wrestles with God, and at the end of that story, he receives a blessing from God. God is longing to be with you in this struggle. He is longing to bless you. He's not wanting to leave you alone. So in those moments where you feel like you're just coming out of a storm, or you got a storm ahead, or you're in the middle of the storm, know that during that struggle, God wants to be right there with you. Guys, I hope that whatever level you're on, I hope that you will take seriously that God wants to be there for you, that he is the real deal, and he is ready and waiting for you to give your life to him. For those of you who have not yet made that decision, you're still in the struggle of, am I going to give my life over to God? Am I going to accept this gift of salvation and be baptized? I hope you guys will know that we are here. We can have Zoom Bible study sessions with you. We can just talk on the phone. You can talk to your parents. All these are good avenues to go through when you're in the midst of this struggle. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. I want you guys to feel encouraged that there is light at the end of the tunnel here. We are getting closer to getting back to our first in-person church service. I want to encourage you guys to remember to honor your mothers today, as it is Mother's Day. And I also want to encourage you guys to be thinking about and praying for our seniors as they start to think about what happens for them in the fall, and as we try to honor them. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.